What is up, y'all? We have the kits for the new Immortal Weapons team. I'm excited about the team. Hopefully, you're excited about the team. Kung Fu Heroes, that's what some of us grew up with. And so now we get to use them in game. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So without further delay, let's just go ahead and get right into the information. We're going to try to break some of this stuff down, see what's good, uh, what's going to help the team, and maybe some pitfalls that we need to be aware of. So right off the bat, this advanced copy of the blog, we're starting out with Lady Bullseye. Let's go ahead and look at the passives because I think we'll do the passives and come up to the top because I think the way that this team works is you got to understand what the passive is doing and you can lean into it. So the passive ability for Lady Bullseye is never misses. So on spawn, you're going to apply immunity for 2 turns to self and all immortal weapon allies. Huge, right? That's a big deal. We got immunity on spawn. It's going to stay around for 2 turns. In raids, you're going to get your ability energy here. So again, in raids, that's probably not something we're overly concerned with unless you get one of those crucible rooms or something like that where the raid things are active. I know some people don't like that, but I like it, man. I was a regular player. Dan, what's up, brother? What's going on, my guy? So we got Dan in the chat. He's wondering, how do I like Professor X? And my guy, I'm loving it. I'm loving Professor X. I'm actually making some strides in arena right now. So it's been going good. It's been going good. Now, what happens? What's going on with the rest of the passive? Well, it says when 1 or more enemies with offense down are attacked. So offense down seems like it's big for her kit. When 1 or more enemies with offense down are attacked, attack the primary target of that attack for 5% of that target's max health. All right, that by itself, that's a big deal. We're talking about a lot of damage here because we're talking about percentile health damage every single time someone with offense down is attacked. And you want to make sure, see, it says attack the primary target. So that might be one of those times where you need to target a certain person if you want that follow-up attack to happen. If you just want to take the extra damage, however it comes, because you need to attack this person over here, that's cool. But if you're really trying to tunnel somebody down or you have an opportunity to knock somebody out, you might want to decide, I need to focus my attack on this person because that's where the follow-up attack is going to come from. For each immortal weapon or thunderbolt ally, you get 10% crit chance, 5% crit damage. So again, she's doing more damage. The encouragement here is to use Raider, I believe, on this character, because I believe she has to have critical strikes in order for some of these extra things to proc. If this character has 3 or more immortal weapon allies, reduce the crit chance of all enemies by 100%. So if you have your team, the opponent cannot critically strike you. So as we saw in the strike time broadcast, this team is meant to absorb those alpha strikes. So somebody can't come out in one shot your characters. I won't say that they can't, but they're trying to make it very difficult for somebody to show up and just take that first hit in one shot one of your characters. In this case, they are unable to land a critical strike as long as she's here and on the team. Enemies cannot have their speed increased except by positive effects. So we've been looking at a lot of that, right? Super Scroll is probably the most famous example. You know what I'm saying? He's probably the most famous example is Super Scroll, but anybody who's going to do something like that, this character is going to prevent that from happening. And I think it falls under that bullet if you have 3 immortal weapons. So you don't even have to have the full team. So these 3 newer characters, maybe we can find use for them in other areas. Alliance Wars is brought out, maybe in Crucible, maybe some other things. You can start using those 3 as a foundation and build some type of counter. That's cool. I think it's awesome. So we got Big Positive Geek in the house. What is going on, my guy? How are you doing today? How are you doing today? And Dan was making sure to say he likes the dude with the sword. So we're going to get to him. We're going to get to him, Swordmaster. I think he's a cool character. We're definitely going to get to him. Is that the there he goes. We got to talk about the rest of the Lady Bullseye's abilities. But what we know right now is you got your immunity on spawn. You're hitting the people with offense down and stuff happens. So as we go up to the top, What do we know about Lady Bullseye? Villain, global mystic, brawler, immortal weapon, and thunderbolt. So again, this was brought out in the Strike Time video. You have the opportunity here to replace one of the Thunderbolt members with Lady Bullseye. So a lot of people are thinking Songbird because they're popping Songbird out anyway. But here's just another small caveat, a small point. By having the Thunderbolt tag, that makes a slot for your raids as well. So if you are a newer or mid-game player, if you came into the game after the Thunderbolts came into the game, here's somebody you might be able to plug in and still be able to punch through those nodes without building the entire team. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but in some cases it is. Resources are limited. So if this is a character, right, it's a newer character, you should definitely build this character anyway. And then if you have to reach back to make sure you get through that Thunderbolt portion of the raids, maybe you don't have to build them all. We'll find out. We'll find out. Just a small caveat, a small point, something that's beneficial for a couple people. Dan says, just like Brimstone, they just need 3. So how are you guys feeling about stuff like that? Well, they're making teams where maybe you don't have to have the whole team. I mean, you want it. But I like the mix and match. I like the interoperability that they're giving. Her basic attack is Mystic Blades. Attack your primary target for damage. On crit, you get an offense down up to a maximum of 3 on the primary target. So we want that critical strike. We want to be able to get those critical hits. So again, that's why Raider was encouraged. And so then I'm just wondering about the order of operations here. You hit the primary target, and then the next bullet point says on crit, you get the offense down. So maybe you might not get that to proc immediately. Maybe they need to have the offense down first, if I'm making sense. But for the ISO attack, something similar happens, except if you got some piercing damage. But since it is an ISO attack, there is an assist. These things are going to start happening. They're going to start piling up in this team, right? It's going to be interesting. And who we make is strikers and stuff like that to try to get some of those assist mechanics. Because what things do you want to proc more often, right? What do you want to proc more? Right? You can have max health damage, right? 5%. If you continue to have assists with Lady Bullseye, you're doing big damage with those assists if they have offense down. Her special and ultimate come preloaded. And it looks like that's a lot with this team. Their abilities come preloaded. So her special, oh man, is disappearing trick. You're going to attack the primary and adjacent target for damage, flip all positive effects into negative effects, and then apply an offense down up to a maximum of 3. And if you crit, prolongs the duration of all those negative effects by 1 up to a maximum of 5 on the primary and secondary targets or adjacent targets. Well, I guess it doesn't say adjacent, just say secondary. So I have to see what the attack pattern is for the team. So that can be interesting. You could hit them. You could flip something in an offense down. And that should then automatically proc that, right? If not, you're going to apply offense down anyway. And if you're prolonging negative effects, I mean, I like that, man. I like that. So we got Dan also chiming in. He says, the new characters being able to join another team, that's a plus in my book. 2 teams for the price of 1. For the price of 1 character, sometimes 2. And I agree with that. I agree with that. And I kind of like how that's going. If people want to build lean, they can, right? Obviously, it's going to cost us on some other end. It's going to cost us on some other end. But if we want to build and mix and match the teams that we want, we have that ability, right? If we're not as hardcore, let's say, or we just are trying to spread our resources around, we have that option. I think that's interesting. We'll see how much more they lean into that. I like it. She could go with her special, or you go with her ultimate fan dance. Also preloaded 5 of 5. Apply offense up to self, all immortal weapons, and all Thunderbolt allies. All right. So she does help out the Thunderbolt team. She's going to give all the Thunderbolts offense up if you have her on a Thunderbolt team. That's good to know. That's probably going to be a tier 4 ability, though. We'll see. Attack primary and adjacent targets for 350% piercing. Clear all charged on the primary target. So I'm trying to think, what characters are we worried about right now in the modern game that have charges? I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. Odin, but I don't know if these guys have what it takes to get off and get after Odin. In the video, they showed them going up against the absolute A-Force, so maybe it is it Miss Marvel Classic? She's got charges to keep her health going or something like that. I can't remember. In raids, reduce the duration of all positive effects by 2. Again, in raids, I'm not overly worried about that. Apply 1 random negative effect for 2 turns to primary and secondary targets. If this attack crits, apply slow for 2 turns, offense down 2 turns, defense down 2 turns to primary and secondary target. 500% extra focus cannot be dodged or blocked. So the intent of this ability when you hit that ultimate is to put negative effects on the opponent. You're probably going to get that crit. So I wonder what other random negative effect could happen. You could get some of these for 3 with that one other random negative effect. Maybe a bleed. I'm interested to see what kind of damage this character can do. Right? We need to see the stats. I'm interested to see how hard does she hit, because it seems like the intent of the damage dealers on this team are to do damage. So Dan agrees that Odin seems to be the main character that we're thinking of. I'm interested to see if we're able to slow him down and stuff. I don't know. I'm curious. I want to know how it's going to play out. I haven't had a chance to play him yet. I haven't had a chance to see him yet, except for on a strike spot with you all. Character number 2 is Sword Master. So we'll go down to the passive so we can start putting together what's happening here. Passive, Descendant of Fushi. On spawn, apply Safeguard to self and all Immortal Weapon allies for 2 turns. Now, did we get... Let me go back. Yep. So we had our immunity with Lady Bullseye. So on spawn, we got immunity and Safeguard. Awesome defensive capability there, right? On spawn, we're going to have Safeguard and immunity for 2 turns. All right. So again, we're going to be able to take those hits when an enemy with defense down is attacked. 50% chance to gain ability energy for self and all Immortal Weapon allies. 50% chance. Okay. But we'll have to see how the energy plays out. Heal self and all Immortal Weapon allies by 5% of this character's max health. I don't think the 50% applies there. There's a lot of healing on this team. I want to see how they work. There's a lot of healing built in on this team. You probably saw the kits for the Iron Fists yesterday. We're going to review them again today, but there is a lot of healing on this team. In raids, always generating ability energy for self and Immortal Weapon ally. So in raids, it's always going to happen. Lower armor by 25% for enemies with stun. I want to know, is there a lot of enemies out there with armor right now? There might be. There might be. Even so, I mean, the way armor works, right? It's kind of the opposite of, it stops the, what am I trying to say? Piercing bypasses armor. So when you see piercing damage, it bypasses armor from what I understand. I could be mistaken. So lowering armor by 1/4 is going to just help you to take more damage, right? It's going to help you to take more damage. In raids, it's by an additional 75%. So you're taking all the armor away in raids. But again, raids are not always the main point. Raids are important. People say they're just raid teams. That's how you're going to get your gear. So Dan's saying again, they're going to constantly heal and deal damage. Are going to be a big problem. I agree. It looks like that's the gist of the team, is staying alive and just handing out damage. And they're slowing you down. They're making it so your abilities, we got to look at we didn't look at the abilities. They're making it so your abilities are soft, that you're going slow, you're not hitting hard. I think, like Pathfinder said, it's a war of attrition. They're just going to outlast you. Reminds me of the Heroes for Hire of old. We'll see how it goes. Swordmaster, Hero, Global, Mystic, Brawler, Immortal Weapon, Mighty Avenger. So we did see that the other day. They're putting him in the class with the Mighty Avengers. So we can piece him out and use him in war by himself. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how we feel about that. I guess you only need 3 immortal weapons to trigger a lot of the stuff. So even if you piece him out and use the other 4 characters, we'll see. I'm curious. I'm curious to know how it's going to go. His basic ability, Star Cutter. Attack primary target for damage. It's going to be piercing damage. Apply a defense down up to a maximum of 3. Chain to 2 adjacent targets. More piercing damage. Defense down up to a maximum of 3. Counterattacks break the chain. So I already forgot what happened. If we hit somebody with defense down, opportunity to get ability energy and healing. Right. Opportunity to get ability energy and healing for your team. So he's going to hit more than one target. So every time, so these are the questions I have. So every target, are they going to give you that 5% healing? So if he hits all 3 targets, is that 5, 10, 15%? And then every time he's called in, like it says, for an assist, same thing's going to happen, right? Opportunity to get some healing. Whirling Assault 4/4, Omni Slash 7/7. So again, their abilities come preloaded. Whirling Assault. If this character has 3 or more Immortal Weapon or Mighty Avenger allies, reduce the duration of immunity and safeguard by 2 on all enemies. So we saw that in a video. Removing safeguard and immunity, big deal. Big deal, right? It makes the opponents vulnerable in the sense that you can now put negative effects on them, right? In raids, it's going to reduce all their positive effects. Attack all enemies for 300% piercing. Apply defense down up to a maximum of 3. Trauma for 2 turns. All right, that's a problem. And heal block for 2 turns. Trauma and heal block. So this is what they do. They're just going to wear you out. Trauma and heal block. You can't get rid of the negatives. They apply a bunch of negatives. Heal block. They're stopping you from healing, and they're hitting you hard. And if this character is an attack all enemies. So I did ask a question about, is there a difference? We hear people say sometimes this is an attack all. Sometimes we hear people say, well, this is an area of effect attack. What's the difference? So an area of effect attack may not necessarily attack all enemies, right? It's just in wherever the area of effect is, that might not be all the enemies. But if it's an attack all, it's going to hit everybody. So again, this is where I had these questions. If he's hitting everybody, and if everybody has offense down, is that 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% healing? I want to see what it looks like. But he's giving out a lot of healing. And then the opportunity will be there, I'm assuming, for all 5 of those characters to give you ability energy. So on a 50-50 chance, right? Could that be, if we give it on the low end, that's 2 ability energy that comes out? Is that how that works? Is it random? Does it just go to anybody? I guess we should double check that. Let's see. 50% chance, to generate ability energy for self and. So it doesn't say or and. So is that 2 ability energy that'll pop out, or 1 ability energy that can pop out that can go to anybody? Can't wait to see. We got to figure it out. All right, so we're attacking everybody for damage on this special. Apply defense down, which is popping out ability energy. Cannot be blocked, counterattacked, or dodged. Interesting. Interesting. We got Mr. Pickle. We got Mr. Pickle going on. What's going on, my guy? We're not tickling any pickles today, but it's good to see you. His ultimate is Omni Slash. Clear all barrier on all enemies. So the gentleman on the video said there's too much barrier in the game. There's a lot of characters with barrier right now. You want to make sure that this stuff lands. So this ability in particular is clearing all barrier. Apply stun to the primary target. 3 defense downs up to a maximum of 3. He's going to attack that primary target for piercing. He's going to be stunned. Bonus attack 3 times. This is a single target attack. Clear all barrier on all enemies. Attack I think it's a single target attack. Attack the primary target. He's going to get defense down. And then you're going to hit him 3 more times with defense down. On raid, it deals double damage. If not, we're in raids in general on kill. Apply stun to all adjacent targets. This attack cannot be blocked or dodged. That's very interesting. So if you got somebody that you can tap out anyway, if you know you can tap the guy out and he's next to a couple more people, you could stun them by tapping that guy out with his ultimate attack. So we'll be looking for opportunities on how to use this. I think he's a cool character. And if there's anybody out there, this is one of the things I'm really curious about. If there's anybody out there of Chinese descent, my understanding of Sword Master is that he was kind of created by Marvel to draw some interest in the Chinese market. I can't remember. Here was 2 other people. It was a total of 3 people that they were kind of on a team. He kind of has that lore of the Jade Sword. So he's kind of a demon hunter in that regard, which I'm not really a fan of, but they got some people together to really like dive into the lore and figure out how they could do the storyline. So he had his own storyline. People did like him. It sounds like they made a video game with him. If I'm understanding correctly, he became the Iron Fist in the main Marvel storyline for a while. He was the Iron Fist. So I'm just curious, right? Whenever you see cultural things like that, how do people perceive it? It seems like he's doing good. It seems like he's doing good and he has the hearts and minds of people. But I'm just curious as to what you think. The third character is the Steel Serpent. I do not have a picture of him just yet. He is a villain global mystic controller. He's a mystic controller. That's a huge deal. Once again, if you are a newish player, right? If you are a newish player, let me bring up my game real quick. Because I got to show you what I mean. So let's see here. Wait 1 second. Here we go. Just got to switch. Okay. So this is the baby account right here. And so if you're a newish player, one of the things that is good about him being a mystic controller is you need mystic controllers for Phoenix. Normally, I don't tell people to go after legendary characters if they're older legendaries, right? Don't because they're not really strong, right? So if you were to get Fury, she's a legendary character. She's not strong. Star-Lord's a legendary character. He's not strong. So you don't tell people to go after that stuff. But Phoenix is being used right now. She's part of the new Phoenix Force team for the next couple years. They're probably going to be using her and pumping her stats up. So she's probably good to get. She's probably good to get as a legendary, even if you are a newer player. But here's the problem you run into. What characters qualify for that? Because you need mystic controllers. So what characters qualify for that? Well, on this account, I got Oath, I got Null, and then just because they gave us who's that? Yeah, just because they gave us Cosmic Ghost Rider with tokens. Same thing for Black Panther Shuri. They gave her to us with tokens. So that's a couple mystic controllers that I have that they just gave us. But then who do you tell somebody to power up? Right? Do I tell somebody to power up Loki? I don't think I can. Right? Kahori's a good character, so maybe you reach back and that's okay. But right, reaching back is just dangerous. I don't like to do it. Mr. Negative, they were. I think they're still giving away. Like I got a lot of shards of him, but you would need to put power into him. You got to make them. What does it say? Recommended? No, 4 stars. So yeah, I could just enable. So what's wrong? Why isn't he lit up? Or is he? All right. Requires 5 mystic controllers at 4 or more stars. There's recommendations. I'll have to see about that. Maybe he is activated. Maybe all these guys are activated. Right. I guess we could find out right now, right? Yeah, they must not be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I need more stars. I need more stars on some of these other folks. All right. All right. But again, it seems like it's not a big deal, but it is because newer people, you don't have the resources to keep going back and building up old teams. So if they can give a character, again, in the case now of Swordmaster, who is a mystic controller, then yeah, that's one spot. That's one spot that you can now use with a good new character that's strong. Steel Serpent, not Swordmaster, Steel Serpent. That's strong, that'll help us to get that character. And we're going to need her. We're going to need her for the future. So what's Steel Serpent do? Let's go look at the passive. The Way of the Serpent. On Immortal Weapon ally turn, gain assist now. So that on Immortal Weapon ally turn, gain assist now. So Serpent is assisting. Am I reading that correctly? One of the other characters takes a turn and Serpent will assist. So this guy is going to be coming in a lot. Am I understanding that correctly? When one or more enemies with slow is attacked, reduce the primary target of that attack speed bar by 5%. That can be devastating. So if I'm understanding that correctly, one of the other characters is going to go and Serpent all the time is going to assist and he's just going to keep chiseling away at your speed bar. Does that sound right? You're going to do something, he's going to assist, and he's just going to be chiseling away at your speed bar. So that striker skirmisher combo, that might be ridiculous on this team. You can really lean in to crippling the other team in some way, whether it's overall health, speed. Man, this is going to be an interesting team to figure out how you want to put it together. In raids, speed for everybody. In raids, if they have 3 or more slow, you're going to put ability block. That's a raid option. If this character has 3 or more immortal weapon allies, self and all immortal weapons cannot have their speed bar reduced. Huge. So who does that stop? Does that stop Emma? Or does Emma stop your speed stat? I get those things confused. But It'll stop a lot of stuff. It's going to be an important thing. I get some clarification on who it actually affects. In the raids, they can't get vulnerable, and that's all. That's what the passive does. So it's going to chisel off your speed bar. Very interesting. So what does he do? Basic steel strikes. Attack primary target for damage. Apply slow up to a maximum of 3. Chain to 2 adjacent targets. Apply slow and trauma. Ooh. To people who already have offense down. No, excuse me. Apply trauma up to a maximum of 2. The targets that have offense down, defense down, and slow. So if this character, depending on his speed here, so he's 107, he's the slower in the bunch. But other people should already have negative effects on the board. And then after he goes, even with this basic, he can drop trauma on you. And if he's chain attacking, right, he's chiseling, if I'm understanding correctly, he's chiseling speed. When one or more enemies with slows attack, reduce the primary target by 5. Okay, one person. Let's see how it goes. So one person's getting their speed chiseled. And if you bring him in for an assist, he's going to get his speed knocked down too. Awesome. Special. Serpent Slam. His energy is 3. Venom Fist energy 5. So there's an opportunity right there. We'll have to come back. We'll come back and look at that. But there's an opportunity right there for that speed meter we were talking, or those abilities we were talking about before. Special Serpent Slam. Attack primary and adjacent targets for damage. It's piercing damage. Flip all positives to negatives. Apply slow up to a maximum of 3. It only takes 3 energy for that, so he could use that more than once in a match. Primary adjacent targets, flip positives to negatives, more slows. And if he does it again, or if he already had a slow, he's taking speed bar. Ultimate Venomous Fists. You see, it's not fully loaded. There's room to grow. So that must be intentional. This must be strong, right? Let's see what happens. It says clear barrier from all enemies. Transfer all positive effects from Iron Fist, from an Iron Fist. It could just say Iron Fist, but it says an Iron Fist. So I wonder if both of them count. They must. Could be either or. This attack gains 10% damage per positive effect on self, 10% damage per negative effect on the primary. In raids, all positive effects are reduced. On attack, primary target for 500% piercing, 2 slow up to a maximum of 3. So depending on how many effects you got stacked, that percentage can go up. I don't know how long you guys have been playing, but back in the day, like Carnage was the first person to like have something like this. And there was always this competition of how big of damage number could you get. So it'll be interesting to see what exactly can happen with the Venomous Fists. Okay. Because the energy cost is 507, you need 2. So this might be that one. Was it Swordmaster? Had that 50-50 shot of giving energy. So maybe you can get this dude fully charged before his turn if the energy lands right and have yet another devastating attack on one of your opponents. I think that's possible. It'll be interesting to see if we can control that somehow, or that just that 50-50, right? If you do KO somebody with that, you put slow on all enemies. Interesting. Can't be dodged. So a lot of negative effects. They can't control your speed bar. You can put slows on them. They have a lot of endurance. You might be able to just lap the team. We'll have to find out. King Cygnus, what's going on, my guy? How are you doing today? Talking about the Immortal Weapons. So I think that's all the main ones. So we might as well just go look at the blog that's already up on the website to look after the Iron Fist type characters. But what are you thinking? I think this looks good. I'm really interested. I'm stoked about the team. I haven't had a good team in a while. As far as if you guys care about lore, I don't think Lady Bullseye was actually one of the immortal weapons, but Swordmaster he was the Iron Fist for a while, and Steel Serpent, he did actually become an immortal weapon. He wanted to be the Iron Fist. He was always like the number 2, like he's the Vegeta. So that's what kind of made him a villain, was trying to be number 1. He's not really a bad guy, but he's trying to beat Danny Rand, trying to be the Iron Fist. He kept coming up short. That's what made him who he is. But he did get to be an immortal weapon for another of the hidden cities. I can't remember which one. But he did get to be an immortal weapon for another one of the hidden cities. No problem, my guy. No problem. It goes, my brother. It goes. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. You got to take family first, man. And so that's just a point for all. Now, did you see what? Right. We're going to take that point right quick. Did you see what Be Positive Geek did? He's a grown man. He took time for the family. You got to do that, man. You got to do that stuff. Your kids are important. And especially as men, they need us in their lives. So much respect to that. Much respect to that. You got to do that stuff. So we'll just scroll down. I mean, this came out already, so we'll just scroll. We're mostly interested in looking at, well, how those other Iron Fists are going to contribute to the team. It looks like these gentlemen are indeed the Mystic Raid team. All right. They gave us, this is what we came to, right? Steel Serpent punishes enemies who have slow. He's given out a lot of slow. His ultimate's a heavy hitter that clears barrier and dices up his foes for damage that increase per negative effect on the target. It doesn't come preloaded like we saw. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get that energy to come from Swordmaster. Get Steel Serpent early. He goes last. If there's already a lot of effects, can he one-shot somebody on his first turn? Swordmaster cuts up enemies with defense down. When they have the defense down, he heals all immortal weapon allies. So that's 5% healing every time somebody with defense down is hit. And we're going to see the Iron Fists characters. They got healing as well. His ultimate is a battle breaker that clears barrier and stuns. Lady Bullseye hits foes with offense down. When she crits, she'll attack the primary target of that initial attack. So that's what I want to see. So you're going to have Steel Serpent assisting, removing speed bar, Lady Bullseye. If she's called in for assist, what did it say? She'll attack or just extra attacks. She'll still attack somebody more. Swordmaster is called in, you're going to heal. So something's going to happen with any of those 3 individuals if they are called in for an attack. So Dan says, I know the feeling, coming up short. I don't know what you're saying there. I don't know what the acronym is. You got to help me understand. Yep. Got to have those patterns, bro. You got to have it. Those routines are important. And yeah, that was Ricardo. I agree with that. It was Ricardo. That was a gentleman who was on a strike spot. I know he didn't, right? He seemed kind of nervous on the interview. That's not everybody's gift to be in talking for the camera, but the dude knows how to make, he's a gamer. He knows how to make teams. Ricardo's legit, man. I agree with you 100%. So, he's bringing in more. VPG says Ricardo made Vigilantes and the Fantastic Four MCU. Great point. Great point, bro. Hey, man. Great point. The dude just makes bangers. He just makes good teams. So I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited to see it. My guy, it's all good. We can't all be basketball players out here, man. But if you're a father, your kids need you, man. That's the main thing, to just be there. Now, what the Iron Fist is going to do, he's got a big buff to stats because he's an old character in this game. And it doesn't look like, we'll see. It doesn't look like we're going to want to remove him. People are concerned that maybe he's the first one out. I don't think we're going to want to remove him. He's got a lot to do. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go see what they changed about his passive ability. We'll just read what happened. So on spawn, he's going to be charged and gain 1 charge per immortal weapon. So that's going to be up to, like it says, a maximum of 5. On spawn, heal self and immortal weapons for 30% of this character's max health. Now, this is interesting because this is why Heroes for Hire, one of the reasons why Heroes for Hire was a problem. So on defense, you're going to have done damage to the team. And if Iron Fist is still there, on spawn, 30% of the team's health is coming back, unless they say it's removed from exhaust, which I don't think they should do. I sometimes think we need a boss team. We need a boss room. We need something that's hard to drill through. If the character has 3 or more immortal weapons, gain taunt for 2 turns. So the match is going to start. He's going to be charged. He's going to have taunt. It's going to be good. You have to hit him. You have to hit him. On turn, every time it's his turn, heal self and all defenders, heroes, or immortal weapons for 30%. Wow. So when it's his turn, he's going to, just showing up, he's healing for 30%. He didn't even do anything. It's just because it's his turn, right? He used to be a problem. Man, he used to be a problem. If he drops below 50% health and he has the charges, he's going to heal himself and immortal weapons for 30% and apply defense up for 2 turns. He'll drop the taunt and lose a charge. So now just think about that, right? They're talking about stopping the Alpha Strike team. So he's going to have immunity and safeguard already because of what the other characters are doing. They have damage reduction. The other characters have damage reduction. You might have offense down at this time. You might. You hit him. If by some chance you knock him down past 50%, he drops the taunt and he's going to heal back at least 30% and get defense up. Interesting. By dropping the taunt, he loses a charge. This character in Immortal Weapons gain 200% focus per charge. So all those negative effects that we've been talking about, he's putting those negative effects on people. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. The new avatars in the game, like the Immortal Weapons, are they in the game? Are they in the game right now? I haven't seen them. I saw people post pictures a quick second. But if they're in there now, let me know. I haven't seen them. I don't see them right now. I don't see them right now, but I just saw them for that quick, or at least the pictures that people posted. While this character has charged, this character in Immortal Weapon allies gain, well, that's where it is, 45% damage reduction, up to a maximum of 80% damage reduction. All right. Bro. So that's, I should have, I got ahead of myself. So just showing up, he's stopping 45% of incoming damage, up to 80%. We'll have to see. There's got to be some clarifications. That's a tier 4 thing. There's got to be some clarification as to what the difference is. But the chance that you're able to one-shot this character is close to non-existent. It's probably there, but it's close to non-existent, at least right now. I'm sure as our strength grows, that'll be the thing. That'll be one of the touchstones. Who's strong enough to one-shot the Iron Fist? That'll be one of the touch points. New avatars for Miles, Spidey, Scarlet Witch, and Deadpool, and Iron Man. I have not seen them. I have not seen them. I'll have to investigate. I have not seen them. Iron Fist World War II, he got a boost. Oh, wait a minute. We'll go look. We were looking at the passive because we want to make sure we know what we're looking at, how the team's going to be affected. All right. We'll go back and look at his other abilities. His basic, it's going to do damage, chain, more damage. Special. If this character has 3 immortal weapons, reduce the duration of all negative effects on self and all immortal allies by 2. Okay. So I think this is a heal, right? Yeah. The inner piece is a heal. Heal self for 30% of this character's max health. Gain defense up for 2 turns. So this is probably what you start with after you take that hit. You heal yourself up. You might be almost back to full health, right? If you so, oh my goodness. So you hit him hard enough to push him down into the 50. Let's say you were able to do it. He automatically heals for 30%. Then when it's his turn, he's going to heal another 30%. So 30 plus 30 is 60, depending on where he is on the 50. That's right. Just counting 50% by itself, that's 110%. So you would have to get him down into the red, I think, pretty close, to not have him between the automatic heal and this, to not have him get back to full power. Man, he's going to be a problem, bro. You're going to have him on the team. He's going to be there. You're going to have him on the team. And then he's going to heal the other immortal weapons for 30%. He's also going to heal those hero for hire. That's going to be a bit of, we know that he was on that team, but sometime with the baby account, I still do running the heroes for hire. They can still be a problem. And with updated Iron Fist stats, that might be a problem. I'm not going to tell people to build it. Don't build it. It's just one of those things that as you're coming up, you're going to run into it because people get those characters early. Man, don't build it. I'm just saying, as a newer player, just be mindful. That could be a problem. Heal the most injured ally for 10%. Wow. All right. We're just healing people. Fill speed bar by 30%. So he's getting ready to go again. In rage, he's going to get 2 more charges. Apply defense up for 2 turns to immortal weapons. So if you hit him hard, as we saw on the passive, am I seeing that correctly? You hit him hard anyway. If you get him down into the red, he's put defense up. If that didn't happen, he's going to use his special next, I believe. Give the team defense up, refresh that if they lost it other ways around. BBG says, go to the profile page, scroll near the bottom. They look awesome. Let me see about this. Let us take a peek. We're going to go look. We're going to take a peek. Let's do it. Let's take a quick second to peek at them because I haven't looked. You got to give me a second because I got to switch. I got to switch screens. Let's take a look at these. All right. They're down at the bottom. Near the bottom. Let's see. Is that Miles there? I should probably do it with my main account because then I could see it a little more clearly, huh? Who am I looking for? Miles, Spidey, Scarlet Witch, Deadpool, Iron Man. We're going up more. We're going up more. Come out, come out. Who's that guy? Come out, come out. Ah. BPG told me to go up some more. We're glowing. Interesting. Huh. Special event unlock. Interesting. That does look pretty sweet. I would be using that one, man. Legit. Miles Morales looks great. I'll be using it. X-Force Deadpool. Not too shabby either. The Watcher. What would we get the Watcher for? Is there another What If coming out? That looks cool. That looks really cool. Sweet, man. Thanks for bringing that up. I didn't get to unlock, well, at least on this count. I should look at my other one. Any of the Super Saiyan. I didn't get to unlock, I don't think, any of the Super Saiyan Quasars. We got some Super Saiyan Blastars. Interesting. Scarlet Witch. I didn't see her. Oh, she's right there. She's also glowing. Okay. Nope. I didn't bypass her on purpose. I just didn't realize he was right there next to Spidey. Awesome. 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 Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, these guys, man, when it comes to the art, like we're saying, man, they always seem to win when it comes to the art. They do a good job at making stuff appealing and looks awesome. They do a great job with that. They do a great job with that. Web playable calendar. Uh-oh. Or a web playable event. From the data. He's data mining. From the data mines. We're looking at a web playable event. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Can I make this bigger? All right. I'll make this bigger. All right. So where are we? We're still with the standard Iron Fist, Ultimate Iron Fist. Clear barrier on all enemies. Clear 5 positive effects from the primary target. Attack that person for 500% damage. So this move hit hard. 500%. Back in the day, this move hit hard. And the Serpent looks like he's also hitting for 500% damage. But the Serpent will have 10% increase per buff in negative effect. Apply speed up for 2 turns. Interesting. So you could have speed down. So again, that's just an old school fan favorite. That's just an old school fan favorite. Your team having speed up, their team having slow, you can get lapped. That's how we used to do it back in the day with Quake and Black Widow. On kill, if this character has 3 or more immortal weapons, gain 5 charges. So that's how you get his charges back in the regular thing. And raids are just automatically going to pop out. But you're going to have to KO somebody to get his charges back while you're playing in the player versus player environment. And it cannot be blocked. It cannot be dodged. They have lowered the damage percentage here, though. I thought it was 750. Ooh. You might be right, bro. I do not recall. I thought it was 750, but that would be absurd with the new stats. It might be. I don't recall. I don't look at the numbers as awesome as you do. I know you pay a lot more attention to those numbers. 750 would be wicked. But yeah, he's gonna hit just as hard as the Serpent. Dude, this is gonna be interesting, man. I can't wait. I'm excited. Kung Fu Heroes used to be the jam when I was a kid, man. Iron Fist World War II. So if we're gonna replace somebody, it's probably gonna be this cat, is my guess. So it won't be the original Iron Fist because he does too much. Iron Fist World War II, he's got a stat bump. What does his passive do? On this character and on any immortal weapon ally's turn, on this character and on any immortal weapon ally's turn, heal self and immortal allies for 6%. More healing. More healing just for showing up. More healing just for showing up. Dan says he can't wait for the Scarlet Witch. Not going to lie. I feel you, brother. It's not for me. It's not for me. But I know that everybody has to have the opportunity to use the characters that they love and stuff with the characters they love. I get that wholeheartedly. So just for showing up every time it's your turn, there's a little bit of healing going on. His basic, they're not even showing it here. I don't remember what it is. I got to look at game. The basic, they're not even showing it here. Special. Extend all positive effects by 1 up to a maximum of 3. So the team's gonna might have a lot of positive effects for self and all immortal weapons. There's some raid text. Heal self and all immortal weapons by 20%. That's a big chunk. So there's a lot of 30% from the original Iron Fist, 20% for this Iron Fist. Plus, every time you show up, every time it's your turn, you're getting 6%. The ultimate in raids, revive a dead ally. So I was wondering what would happen with this, if this would be something that that you could do. Man, I was wondering if they were going to keep that in the raids, or if you're going to be able to do it in a PvP, be able to res. I was hoping you would be able to, but it looks like they're going to keep it with the raids. I was going to say, man, they'd really be potent then, right? They'd really be potent then. They really be hard, right? You finally chisel through somebody and they just bring them back. I get it. I get it. Man. Man. It's BPG updating this on the avatars. They're coming from the Multiversal Hellstrom milestone, or at least you'll find the Scarlet Witch one in there. Okay. And Dad says he would change all the character kits. But like, what would you change? I think they just don't want to make them too strong. I hear you. I want them to be dope. I wanted them to put Shang-Chi here. That's why I would have wanted, but I think they're leaning into the fact that you got to replace somebody. Shang-Chi was super awesome. If you made the Iron Fist the way you made him and it brought Shang-Chi back, you wouldn't want to replace anybody. I get it though. Man. I think it's dope. I think they're pretty cool. So the revive isn't good. It's only in raids. And I think so then all of this, am I looking at this wrong? Are all these bullet points under the raids then? It can't be right. Extend all positive effects by 1 up to a maximum of 3. Heal self and immortal weapons by 35. So he says has healing on all of his moves, and there's healing just for showing up. Big Positive Geek has the basic for us. Attack primary target for damage. Barrier. Okay. Bury the most injured non-summon ally for 10%. Okay. So we got damage. BPG says, I do not want too many heroes for hire to be reworked. Yeah, because can you only imagine the team with new stats? Bro, yeah, it'd be ridiculous. They'd be back. They were tough to deal with. We got more teams now that got trauma, and we got more teams now that can strip charges, but they were tough to deal with. And in some ways, I think that's sometimes good for the game. I know they don't want to make it so you can't punch through somebody. For those of you who depend on how long you've been playing, I mean, there were times when the old school symbiotes, the old school heroes for hire, you'd rank up 20, like one person's would rank up 20 defensive attacks or 20 defensive wins. Right? So everybody in your alliance has attacked this team at least once to finally get through. And I know maybe that's a little much. Maybe we don't want that. But Sometimes I do think we need a little bit more something that's got a little bit more bite on the defensive end. Infinity Watch. Yep. It might be a little easier now. Infinity Watch don't want to get all them to get reworks on either. It might be a little bit easier now with teams like this. If you can if depending on when you take your turn, right? If you can get in there and remove that stuff. And then they got all those revives. Yeah, man, they were a problem. They were a problem. Marvel Strike Force nostalgia. They were a problem. Dan says, once you change, you're bringing strong characters to the game. They should upgrade all stats across the board. So, like for that team, like the reworks for that team, or just the entire roster, like the whole roster should just go up. Like the whole roster should just increase, like the minions and all that, like people we haven't used, like that would keep people viable. That would keep people viable. Yeah, so he's saying, okay, that's what you're saying. It is the entire roster as a whole. Interesting. That would keep people viable. And maybe the only thing they would suffer is because of their kits would be older, but that would still keep people viable. I think we need, I don't want to get too far off course, but I think like maybe whatever this new game mode is that they're working on, do you think Marvel Strike Force is ready for BPG's chiming in with a good point? It would kill the monetization, right? Like you wouldn't be going after the newest teams. So it makes me wonder, do you think that Marvel Strike Force is ready for like a game mode that uses the majority of the roster? That's usually in my opinion, that's usually some type of like deep game mode, kind of like a conquest is what I have in my type game mode where there's like a map and you're trying to just take over. Like the map could just look like a bunch of raid nodes and you're just trying to take over as many as you can for your alliance. So that the characters you have, the amount of characters that you have powered up matters, like your entire roster. So I've seen game modes like that before. It's tough to keep people motivated with them though. Like I like them because I like strategy games. But in Marvel Future Fight, they had one and it was like every other day, kind of like Alliance War. So it kind of burns people out. It got old. But you could have something where maybe it lasts, right? So let's say it lasts for like 30 days. So Dan's saying at least build the health stats, which I can see. So maybe the game mode lasts for, let's say it's 30 days. You're like, well, I don't want to be playing every day. Well, you would just kind of move a little bit every day, moving your teams. You just make your team of 5, however you made them, and you move out from your base. And I'm trying to think of how that would look. Let's say there's 6 alliances in total on the board. And everybody starts out on a periphery. And obviously, you got to get people to be in conflict. So the closer you get to the middle, the better rewards there are. And you're trying to fight your way down to the middle and hold those spots. And maybe if you can sit on those spots every day, then you get rewards every day. So let's say right in the middle, what's the biggest thing right now? Is it ISO purple 5? So let's pretend that's the biggest thing. So in the middle of the board, there's a node that has purple 5 on it. And if you sit on that node every day, whoever the owner of the team is, gets some purple. It can't be insane. Let's say it's like 5 pieces. I don't know. And then your whole alliance gets 5. And that's every day. So the goal is to get down there and hold that spot. If your team gets knocked out, then they go all the way back up to the top. And let's say it takes like 5 days to get from the top back to the middle, all the way to the middle. So then it would incentivize people to fight. And if you win, you have at least some time to hold on to that spot. If you were to clear everybody out, there's 6 alliances coming in, it's going to be hard. But That's the kind of stuff that I like. So let's see what BPG has to say here. He says any new game mode would be ace. But I also think what they were on about with the extra rooms in War and Crucible, depending on your rank, that's my phone, would be awesome. I agree. That's also true. Would be good for roster stretching. That's also true. If you have more rooms, you'd use them if you cared about it, right? If you cared about the game mode and you pushed into the higher ranks. I agree. I agree. The Doom Tower and Raid Shadow Legends last 30 days. It's kind of like an unbeatable or nearly unbeatable tower. You can just use all your roster, or at least like whoever's strong enough, whichever characters you have that are strong enough to go at it every day. I might be something, man. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of different ways they could take that. A lot of different ways they could take it. So I'm wondering what they're cooking up, and I'm wondering what the community would actually like. Well, we've been doing this for about an hour, so I probably got to go do something else. But thank you guys for coming by the stream. I want to know what you think about the Immortal Weapons. Are you excited about this team? Are you going to core for the team? Do you have a character that you're really looking forward to that you see as your favorite? I'm excited about the team because we haven't had any non-demon team in a while, even though we got a demon hunter and a swordmaster. And Immortal Weapons is an idea. It's just cool in general. Of the group, I think that lore-wise, Lady Bullseye is the only one who's never truly been an immortal weapon, but we'll have to see. So again, I just want to know what you guys think about that. Put it in the comments. BPG is responding to that question. Yep, the whole roster is available. You need certain team mechanics to be certain rooms. Interesting. But we'll punch it out. Make sure you're taking care of yourself and your family. Make sure that you're eating right. Make sure if you're a man out here that you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your family, you're taking care of your kids. That's something that is necessary, and be a mentor in one way or another to other men coming behind you. It doesn't have to be formal, but just lead by example, right? Just lead by example. We need more of that. So yeah, let me know in the comments how perhaps you're doing that in life. I want to hear about something positive. Put that in the comments. Put it in the comments. Something positive that you're doing by leading by example in life. You have a good one too, BPG. Thanks for stopping by. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Dan, thank you for all your comments and your time. Be cool. Eat right. Take care of yourself.